Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, on this episode of the Bullet Points, we are going to dive into something that I think is crucially important around the argument and, in my opinion, the destruction of red flag laws as an option for common sense gun reform. This is incredibly important because all we're inundated with that everyone's for red flag laws. It's common sense, everyone's on board. However, when you actually tell people what red flag laws are, support dissipates quickly, and that is what we're going to talk about. Everything's linked in the description box below, including the original report from the Crime Prevention Research Center. This is powerful. Please send this out because this is important information that we can use in the fight for our rights every single day, which we're doing on this channel. I'm going to take a quick word from our sponsor, SDI, and then we're going to dive in, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think down there in the comments fields. Now, I know a lot of you out there like to repair and modify your own guns. If you're looking for a way to take your hobby to the next level, Sonoran Desert Institute can help. The online programs at SDI cover armor courses, gunsmithing, ballistics, woodworking and finishes, shooting sports management, and more, plus all the tools and materials are shipped directly to your door. There's never been a better time to jump into something that you can actually use for your career, so what are you waiting for? There's a link in the description box below, and thank you so much to SDI for making this content this week possible. But my brothers and sisters, what I'm about to show you is a research paper that was put out by the Crime Prevention Research Center run by John Lott. This is incredibly important. Everything is linked. Let's dive in, and I want to hear from you guys on this one because this is staggering when you slightly change the information in these questions around polling. All right, let's get it. Manipulated public opinion polling should not drive public policy on guns. It's a pretty succinct title. Let's dive in here. A recent study by the Crime Prevention Research Center underscored how easily public opinion polling can be used to distort rather than illuminate people's true feelings on gun control, and policymakers should take note. Now, before we continue, pause for a second. Think about how many times in the past 2 to 3 months you've heard the term red flag laws. Polling supports ARs be gone. Polling supports red flag laws. Polling supports a majority of the population wants more gun control. It's almost countless, right? Well, let's dive in and show you what happens when they're actually told what they're asking a question around. This is important. The problem with relying on public opinion polls is that with complex or controversial issues, check, that would be this, how the poll is conducted has a tremendous bearing on both how accurate it is in determining how people feel and what the results of the poll actually mean. Now there, I've got the whole research in the description box. There's tons of graphs, tons of charting. Check it out if you want a little bit more detail, but listen to what happens when they go from a basic generic question into actually descriptions of what red flag laws are. This is massive, and gun controllers don't want you to know about this. Recent research out of the Crime Prevention Research Center, founded by Dr. John R. Lott Jr., highlights the problem of relying on simplistic public opinion polls when considering complex policy proposals. Lott, well known for his detailed, groundbreaking research on firearms and gun control laws, took a look at public opinion on the anti-gun movement's favorite legislative proposals of the moment, red flag laws. His results illustrate how dramatically opinions can shift when the same issue is presented in different ways. This is really telling. Check this out. Under the polling company McLaughlin and Associates, the CPRC surveyed 1,000 general election voters, asking whether they supported red flag laws if, the question explained, quote, their primary purpose is to allow judges to take away a person's gun based on a single complaint when there is a concern that individual may be committing suicide. The responses indicated 58% support and 30% opposition. Remember those numbers. 58% support and 30% opposition. This is the question that gun controllers will ask, and they will cite in their propaganda around support for red flag laws. However, look what happens when you actually change the question slightly and describe what red flag laws actually are. This is massive. The survey went on to ask, quote, would you be more likely or less likely to support red flag laws if you knew there are no hearings before an individual's guns are taken away and there are no mental health care experts involved in the process? After learning how most red flag laws work, support fell to 30% and opposition rose to 47%. That's almost a complete inverse. Because the problem with the red flag laws across the obvious questions of confiscation and Second Amendment rights, you're talking about a complete absence of due process rights. This is fundamental to our world, to our political world, to our country. This is incredibly important. But that's staggering. But check out a little bit more on the details. In the more detailed breakdown of the result, Lott found that the greatest movement in the views of respondents came in the strongly support and the strongly oppose categories. That's massive because they're the most extreme on both sides. Strongly support fell by more than half when more specifics about red flag laws were included, plummeting from 34% with the first question to 14% with the more detailed second question. Strongly opposed, meanwhile, climbed from 18 to 29%. That is massive. You went from, what was the number? 34% with the first question, strongly in favor. It plummeted to 14% with a detailed question. And strongly opposed climbed from 18 to 29. Went like this. This is massive because as long as we frame the conversation what's actually happening, we can make a huge impact. Those numbers are dramatic. And this last little piece is what I'll leave you with. Of course, these kinds of results are not too surprising and simply adds credence to the old saying, the devil is in the details. And that's something that we talk about every single day. We dive into the details. We dive in because that is where the rights will be determined, in the details. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments field below, and I will see you on the next episode. I'm Braden. See you later.